You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise.
Eleet Lucheonnie. Have you ever wondered why a lot of girl groups often don't work, or whether they just broke up or dismembered and we saw them come and go? For instance, 3OW, Danity Kane, Fifth Harmony, and even Destiny's Child. Sometimes we never ever get the full stories of why these girl groups break up. A lot of the times, we often don't hear about the in-depth stories that took place behind the scenes. Whether it was because of financial issues, whether it was just because one chose to go solo, or whether it was because of legal issues as well. And sometimes, you don't hear certain members of the ex-girl groups say anything pertaining to why they left the group. Well, I'm here to stand in my truth and tell my story of my experiences of being a part of the girl group Secret Girls. This documentary tell-all will be everything geared to my experience of being in a part of the group during the duration of my time. And I want to tell my story to have it on record so no one could switch up my words. The good, the bad, the ugly, from chapter 1 to chapter 3, and also taking full accountability for my own actions as well. So, in order for me to be able to speak on any parts of girl groups in general, why not start from the beginning with telling my story? All out, truth, bold, and in-depth.
I'm Eleet. I'm Jasmine. And we are the Secret Girls.
Wait, hold up. First, let's start from the very beginning.
Just so pretty, all around the world, Secret Girls.
Why am I doing this? Why did I take 1 year long to be able to finally speak my truth and just to kind of talk about my experiences with being a part of the girl group Secret Girls? I'm doing this because I feel like it's necessary for me. It was actually an assignment put on by my therapist to say, you know what, just talk about your experiences and talk about your journey and talk about everything that transpired one last time. Leave it in the past, because I'm at such a wonderful place in my life. I'm truly blessed right now. And now I'm to the point where I could be able to talk about this without being emotionally distressed. I could talk about this now without actually, you know, going crazy or being irate like how I once was at some points of this situation when it transpired. I'm not looking for any clout. I'm not looking to start a war with anybody. I want to be able to turn this into a documentary type of vibe, not only for myself, and to be able to move on in life and prosper in life and not hold on to baggage from the past, but also for my future and the future of potential other girl group members. Maybe not even necessarily that's going to be a part of the Secret Girls and probably take my spot, or just potential people that have interest in being in a girl group. I know for a fact, whether it's 10 years from now, whether it's 20 years from now, whether it's even 30 years from now, I know somebody's gonna look back at the full Secret Girls history, and who knows, somebody might make a movie out of it. Somebody might make a story, a sitcom, or anything that's pertaining to these stories and our journey and what we experienced and how we was just really almost there, and, you know, just a struggle, period, in general, because this was a big thing. You know, this is my dream. The first ever transgender girl group, like, I've never seen it ever. So it was just such an amazing time in my life when I first was a part of the girl group. That is one of the main reasons why I'm doing this, is because I want to make sure that whatever's said and whatever's done and whatever's rewritten or whatever's scripted, I want to make sure that they get my side of the story right. I want to make sure that when it comes to the green hair girl segment, or whenever I was a part of the group, that things are not just looked at based upon what was just posted on the page of the Secret Girls page, because none of us had control over that page. You know, it was understandable. That's her, it's her brand, you know, she started it out and she started doing it, and she, you know, she made the name of the Secret Girls and everything. So she has all right to be able to have all control over what's being posted and things of that nature. But then when it comes down to the slanderization and the things that was distributed on behalf of me and the negativity, there are some loopholes and some potholes in the story that has never been talked about. And the reason why they have never been talked about is because I was always the person in the group that wanted to try to take the high road. Yeah, we had our ups and downs, and we both lashed out on each other here and there, but everything that I could have possibly been blamed for, or whatever the situation was brought, it was based upon the betterment and the well-being of making us a united front. You know, I wanted us to have a sisterhood. There is a very, very deep history with the Secret Girls. There has been possibly up to 15 to 10 girl group members that has either left, or that has been kicked out, or just didn't work out, or they never really got to make it official type of thing. But I started to notice a lot of the reaction that came from particularly the women of color. The African American girls that was a part of the group, they always had a lot of negative things to say pertaining to the reason why they stopped being a part of the group. Now, I won't tell their stories, because I think that everyone is entitled to be able to speak their own truth, and they're entitled to be able to say exactly how they want their story to be told and what is right, most definitely. So I can only speak for myself, but this documentary, I will just be laying it all out on the table. Being a part of the Secret Girls, I will say it lasted up to 3 seasons, which was a plus season when I went back to the group after being kicked out of the group. So we'll start off from the beginning.
When I lived in California, I used to always dream of big dreams of being in a girl group or singing on stage. Because I would always gravitate to Destiny's Child and 3LW and 702 and all these amazing R&B, pop, you know, Spice Girls, Danny D. Kane, all of these girl groups. And I was like, you know what? I don't know if I would ever like be a solo artist or really take that part of my career serious unless I was signed to a label or something like that. But I will always want to experience and just give it a shot at trying to be in a girl group. One thing that really stuck with me is like, wow, what if there was a first ever transgender girl group? And all of this I'm thinking like 2007, 2008. And I had this friend, her name is Eleet Jones. She would let you know, like, I moved out here in 2009, got myself situated, wound up getting me an apartment, and then she came out here to move with me. And so from that point on, we started going to like vocal training. We would rent out studios, practice dances, but it was only me and her. And this is like way before I even heard about A Secret Girls, before I even knew Nikki Exotika or anything. And so we spent like almost 2 years like struggling in my apartment and getting bills paid and still trying to shuffle getting together a girl group, writing songs together. And you know, it didn't work out for me and my friend, but we knew that we still wanted to fight for our dream. We just decided, you know, we'll just go our separate ways and we'll achieve our goals that we want to achieve outside of, you know, the girl group situation. And if it was to possibly happen in the future, who knows, we, you know, would just connect back. So I kind of gave up on the whole girl group thing, and I was very active with lots of modeling at the time and doing a lot of theater productions in Manhattan and off-Broadway and Lehman College productions. And along the way, I met a friend of mine. Her name is Ashley Reed, and she was a part of this TV show that was online on YouTube called Tea Time with the Girls. Tea Time with the Girls is an online YouTube show where they basically had a panel of 3. Balan, it was Fox, Giselle, and Ashley Reed. And they asked me to be a part of their show, and I was on as a guest host and just talking about like all types of LGBT topics, transgender topics, safe sex topics. It's just all types of things that revolve around the LGBT community. So after being a part of that show about 2 times, we came up with the idea that I join on to be a correspondent on the show. So I basically would be the person that takes tea time on the street, and I would go with the microphone and I would have, like, you know, walk up to people and I'd be like, what do you think about sex? What do you think about this? What do you think about that? And it just was a part for them to cut off and like, well, now we're gonna go to Tea Time with the Streets with Eleet Lucheonnie, and then I will have my little segment. So we did that for about like 5-6 months, 6 to 8 months, and then, you know, things started to kind of like take a slow turn for Tea Time with the Girls, of interventions and things of that nature. And so I kind of just got back into my music form state of mind, because I've always been musically inclined and I've always wrote songs growing up, whether it was just me putting it on a tape player and recording it over a beat and just walking and singing with it. I was like, oh my God, I love music. Music is something that I've always done. I would sing in church with my grandmother in our choir, but I always was like scared and fragile. But once I started doing theater productions, I started breaking out of that scared and timid space, and I would be scared before I go on stage, but right when I hit the stage, there's just like a Sasha Fierce in me, like Beyonce's alter ego. Long story short, I started really getting more into the music form, and the first big song and big music video that I ever did was a song produced by Colin Huggins called It's So Hard to Say How I Feel About You. And it's beautifully done with orchestras and people playing flutes and guitars and piano, and it's just very much the vibe that I kind of see myself being at when I reach my 40s. I think I will probably take a turn back to that style aesthetic. But you know, I was just letting it be. Like, I've always been the type that never wanted a label with music. I love all types of genres. I consider myself to be like a rap singer because I'm inspired by Left Eye, you know, Missy Elliott, Little Kim, Nicki Minaj, you know, Lauryn Hill. The list goes on. Lady Gaga, Lily Allen. I love so many diverse type of talent. So I kind of just like made myself this like rap singer type of like hip hop, pop, electro type of vibe that I wanted to give, so I wouldn't be like put in a specific type of vibe. Some people, they say, oh, she's an R&B girl, oh, she's a hip hop girl, she's a pop girl. I wanted to make sure that I had variety and I had texture and levels to my singing. I really just wanted to be able to showcase that side of me and be fearless about it, because I will have all these songs, but I would never post them publicly. So after a while, I was like, you know what? Forget this. I'm about to start posting some of my music. So I made a SoundCloud, had my first video and all that stuff going on, and people really started to see, oh, I didn't know you knew how to sing. I didn't know you knew how to rap. Oh, you should really like get into it. I'm like, I don't know, because you know, I'm so timid. I was like, I don't know about being a solo artist. That's a lot to me. I'm scared. But when I did the song with Colin Huggins, and it was such a success and a big hit, it had such like viewing parties and all this stuff, that pushed me. It made me so fearless, and I was like, you know what, I could actually do this if I want to. I could really give this a shot. So after a while, you know, I was still doing my music on the raps and posting songs here and there. And one day, Ashley from Tea Time with the Girls, she messaged me on Facebook and she was like, hey, remember we was talking about that whole girl group stuff? Because I was actually talking to Fox Giselle and Ashley about some music, like would they ever be interested in being in a girl group? Because Ashley does music as well, and Fox Giselle rapped and done a lot musically and made a big name for herself in the music industry. I propositioned the idea to them. They kind of wasn't feeling it that much, so that kind of, I guess, stuck with Ashley. And she hit me up one day. She was like, hey, I know this girl, her name is Nikki. She's looking for another girl to be a part of her girl group. They're looking for, you know, somewhat of an African-American black girl like yourself to be able to, you know, join their group. And I was like, what group? I'm thinking like it's just regular, you know, girls or whatever. And then she told me that they were transgender. I was like, what? Are you serious? Like, I lit up immediately. And mind you, we're not going to go into all those details, but somewhere along that line of me doing music and working with Tea Time with the Girls, I was going through a lot of hardships in life. I was dealing with a lot of death in my family, and it was just, I was in kind of a down, weary place, but I was pretty much putting on a facade to the world, you know, smiling, still posting photos, still making everything seem like it was okay, but deep down inside I was discouraged and I was kind of just like sad inside. But when I heard about that, it just really like changed my whole aura and everything. I felt like I had life again. I was just like, this is a blessing in disguise. Oh my God, I cannot believe this is happening. She want me to be a part of the group. She saw my music video, and Ashley was telling me how like she saw my music video, and Ashley told me she was telling her about me and how I was trying to start a girl group prior, a long time ago. And you know, everything aligned perfectly from what I thought in the beginning. Nikki Exotika, she lived in Hoboken, in Jersey. And she messaged me on Facebook. She was like, hey, I seen your video. You're amazing. Oh my God, I would love to have you a part of my group. Can I call you? And so, you know, we was talking. Our vibes was clicking. Everything was perfectly. Like,
I just kind of connected with her instantly. We just had this aura with each other. It was just like we understood each other. She understood me, and it was all cool. So, you know, we planned to meet up and get to know each other and sing together on her microphones at her home. I'm gonna make this very clear. When I first met Nikki Exotika, everything was pretty much, you know, wonderful, smooth sailing. Oh, you know, everything's gonna be great. Oh, we're gonna go to the studio session, then we're gonna be performing this. So at this point, you know, I'm not acting overly crazy, but I'm just like, thank you, Lord God. Thank you, Jesus, for calling on to me, because you know how bad that I wanted something like this. And I just really felt like it was a blessing, and I was just so humbled and so thankful and so grateful that she actually believed in me, you know? So I was so understanding. I was willing to do whatever by all means necessary to be a part of this girl group. She's like, so, you know, next month the girls are going to come out here and we're going to do Pride and we're going to perform here on this thing and blah, 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 and all these stories. I'm just like, oh my God, really, this is really happening. So in this whole segment of her telling me about everything that's going on, no prices, no funds, no saying, no dues, any of that was brought to my attention. But it did get brought to my attention when the girls came out to Hoboken, to Jersey, and she brought it up for the very first time at our very first recording session. Now, I want to make this very clear. I had no problem with the understanding that we had came up with, because during that time of getting to know her and the constant conferences and phone conversations that we was having, meeting up to the girls coming out to New York and me meeting them the first time, I started to grow closer in a way to Nikki, to where I felt like I could confide with her. We was having these conferences and phone calls with each other, like every other day she would call me. I started to feel like I could open up to her. You know, I felt like she's somebody that I, for one, respect, because before I moved to New York City, I kind of knew of Nikki Exotika, but I didn't know her. I seen a few like videos on YouTube of her, and you know, just I remember her face when Ashley introduced and said, this girl Nikki Exotika, like, I think I knew her. Me being someone that is younger than her and knowing that she had a lot of experience within being in the music industry and already moving forward with her solo career and things of that nature, I felt like, you know, I could look up to her in some sort and give her that respect, to where I know, okay, I'm going to allow her to, you know, do these things and delegate these situations and, you know, dictate these situations, because she has my best interests at heart. She has all of our best interests at heart. So why not, you know, share with her some of my darkest secrets? Why not talk to her about some of my struggles that I'm enduring in life, so maybe she get an understanding of what, you know, what I'm going through, or what, you know, where I am in my life. I felt like I was able to be able to talk to her, but I never knew that she would like try to take that information about me and use it against me to make me somewhat of the laughing stock or the less fortunate girl, or, you know, just certain things that I started to learn along the way. You know, I just felt like I was getting closer to her each time we talked. So with that being said, I'm thinking like everything is all cool, and it's finally time for us to get together and start rehearsing for our very first performance for Pride. So I get to meet Jasleen, and I get to meet another girl. Her name is Raquel. And when I first met them, everything was like so cool. Like I felt like I was starting to click with them as well. That's when the switch happened. I started to see her play the favoritism type of, you know, when you're in a clique and then you have the outsider. The outsiders that, you know, they have invested time together, they've been around each other for years or whatever prior to that, and then here I am, this new girl walking into this situation. Of course, like, one is going to have their guards up. Me and Raquel was kind of cool at first, but then along the way through rehearsals, we started to not really click as much, and I started to see the clicky thing go on
with her and Nikki Exotika, where they will talk mess and then I'll try to, and then it would be just like, girl, like, you can't sit with us type of situation. So, you know, but with all that still happening in the beginning of that journey of meeting them, I was still determined. I was still determined to be that passionate, kind-hearted, down-to-earth, people's person. Really getting to meet people in real, true, and genuine, not on some fake stuff. And I think sometimes that's what kind of like messes with people when they know, you know, she's a realist. She's not gonna not speak her mind at any point. So at this point of the time, the conflict had begun once we really started recording our backing tracks for our performance. Now mind you, Nikki didn't say anything about no dues, no prices, but when everything transpired, going to the recording session, I started seeing her getting $100 or something from Jacqueline. Then she got more money from Raquel. So these was basically communications that they had prior to this whole situation. Now, her knowing my situation, my financial situation, I was living a single check to be able to maintain my home and my apartment, and I was not doing anything of escorting. You know, I was borrowing money. I had a savings with savings in it, and I was just living check to check from the part-time job that I had. So I was telling her all those situations, and we came down to an understanding, but nothing was still brought up about money during certain times of that point. And so right when we get ready to record, she started telling me, Carl, I know you don't have money like that, and you know, I know it's hard out here, and you know, just the type of compassionate things that you would think someone would say to somebody that does not want to go the route of converting back to a life of escorting and things of that nature that I have done damn near all my life growing up as a teen. And it's just like, so, you know, whenever we get our performances and we get our bookings, you know, I'm just going to do deductions from your money that way that you owe me for studio sessions and stuff of that nature. Totally fine. I agree with that. Yes, most definitely. Thank you so much, Nikki. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Yes, there was a firm understanding about that. So I guess with all that being said, that kind of put me into that category as the, oh girl, she don't have this, and gave her fuel and ammunition to be able to talk down on me to certain people. So I started to see a little drift. It was about 2 weeks from our very first performance. Now, mind you, our music has been laid down. First photo shoot has been done. We was filming with Ronnie for our sizzle reel and everything, and all that was done. But throughout the process of all this, I started to get a lot of backlash and mistreatment and disrespect from her. I started to feel like the outcast of the group. I wasn't able to freely speak my mind at certain points, or if I asked a certain question. Like for instance, our very first argument was when 2 weeks after doing our recording, our very first argument was about, I asked her one time, I said, hey Nikki, is it possible if you could forward me the emails what potential booking people are saying so I could be able to put that on my schedule, or be able to have that email that they sent with confirmation of what they're paying us or whatever, just so I can have an understanding, because it's so easy to be able to say, oh girl, they're only gonna do this. I know that I'm very articulately, intelligently smart when it comes to business and having an understanding, and so I think some things of that nature, she starts to see that, you know, I can't pull the wool over this girl's head. I cannot just tell her what I want to tell her. Like, she's going to know, and I can't treat her like I treat the other two girls. I could just tell them, oh, I need this and that, because they do, you know, they indulge in escorting and they're open about it, and that's fine, to each his own. But I really was trying to live this life in another direction, as far as in not having to subject myself to that lifestyle, knowing that I had more dreams in life, and I've already been through so much with dealing with escorting and being robbed and all this other stuff and so forth. So when it came to the money situations, that's where we always had, you know, disagreements and misunderstandings, and she would always throw that up in our face, and when we have our meetings, it would be just like a direct pinpoint at me. And mind you, at this whole point of time, I'm an emotional wreck. Like, anything could make me start to get emotional, or make me start crying, or make me sad, or make me depressed. So I guess it was like I was the easy target. Oh, she's just gonna cry or whatever. And she knew she had that little power on me, because when we would have our little disagreements or whatever, or situations, she would lash out up on me in front of the other two girls, and it would be directed towards me for something that was no control over our agreement. And I thought we had this understanding, but it's okay for you to try to throw things in my face, or, you know, just certain things that I was starting to see that was not added up. And it was a certain shift from how our communication and understanding and relationship was building before I actually got to meet the other girls. It was so many things going on. People would already have a perception of me that we were working with before I got to meet them. For instance, the photographers, the hairstylists that she had, the makeup artists that she had. All those people she had basically told all my business to, and my situations of me being less fortunate and not having as much as money, and, you know, just things that I think was not respectful for her to do, and to have someone have an outlook on me and an opinion of me before even getting to meet me. So when I would meet these photographers or hairstylists, I wouldn't say everyone, but, you know, I definitely felt that energy with the makeup artist and a hairstylist that she had around. They were kind of just, you know, looking at me like, girl, you know, I would ask them a question, well, you know, what's this about it? You could do it with this over there. You know, they would treat me with that same type of nasty, malicious type of attitude how Nikki was treating me. And I was like, well, why are they acting like this towards me? I didn't do nothing to them. I don't even know them like that. And I started to put two and two together. Oh, she's probably talking bad about me to them, saying I don't got this, I'm not doing this, I'm the less fortunate this, or I need this, and I, you know. And it just put me in a shell to where I was like, what am I gonna do? Like, but this is my dream. This is everything I ever wanted in life. This is everything that I hope for. So I said, you know what? Suck it up, girl. Put up on your damn smile. Still be nice. Still be loving. Still be understanding. Still wear your heart on your sleeve and live out loud the way you living. One of our biggest situations that brought an eye-opener, and it started to show me that she was not really the person that I thought she was from meeting her at the beginning process, was when we was filmed by Ronnie, which was her photographer that I met. Very sweet, very kind. A scissor reel is basically when you formulate a lot of different things, whether it's the dancing, the singing, the performance. So we could be able to use that to send to potential producers or networks that will pick up a reality show for the journey of being a part of the Seeker Girls. So during the process of the sizzle reel, that's when it came to a situation where fabrication was added to one of the pivotal points of me being a part of the Seeker Girls. Now, before being in the Seeker Girls, I went on a retreat with an organization that I'm a part of called the Reciprocity Foundation. And I wind up slipping and falling on this hard ice rock. And I fractured my knee and my ankle. And I wasn't having a lot of problems at that point, but when you are dancing and rehearsing for 2 weeks straight, your fracture could start to swell and start to irritate. One of our particular filmings, I remember it just like it's yesterday. And I came into rehearsal that day. I don't think he was really filming that day, but my ankle was really giving me problems. Every time I was dancing in heels, it would be sprained, it would feel really bad. And so I was like, girl, I can't dance in heels today. Then she goes off, goes off on her loop. Everybody needs to dance in heels. That's what we're doing. We're not one of those type of girl groups. Everybody has to be in heels. One person can't just be in flats. Well, I'm just doing it for today because, my ankle is just kind of giving me a little problems today or whatever. And so she used that situation to fabricate some information in the sizzle reel that was not true. And I talked about this on a blog that Tea Time with the Girls did when some of the past girl group members of the group was also giving their question and answering and their experiences of the Secret Girls group. And I felt it was necessary for me to talk about that situation because when Ronnie edited the sizzle reel, she made some statements in the sizzle reel pertaining to, oh girl, she couldn't be here at this thing because it was one of the times that she kicked me out of her car. And she made up a lie saying, oh, she couldn't do this because her ankle or something was wrong with her ankle. And it was just something made up to fuel trauma.
I woke up today to a text message from Eleet stating her ankle was hurting her and she needed to stay home and rest. We had 2 events booked today. One was the grand opening for Arco Hair Salon in Brooklyn, and the second event was hosting at Matinee's Gay Pride Rooftop Party in New York City. It really pissed me off, and the other girls as well. Of course I told her how we all felt, and all hell broke loose.
Girl, what? On the expense of making me look like the weak link? Goodbye. My character was deformated and information was put into that sizzle reel that was fraudulent.
She was all about us having a direction of what will make a potential network or a show want to have us a part of it. And we all know with girl groups, there's some drama and there's some situations. So I guess she was using me as a mole or a pawn, I would say, to be able to be the black difficult girl of the group that she has the arguments with and that she will be able to go back and forth with and all this crazy stuff. So that's where I think a lot of the negativity and the reasons why she was treating me that way, because she was trying to keep that energy up and keep that up to par so she could always be able to have somebody to be able to argue with or fight with or make a storyline about. The other 2 girls was basically somewhat of yes ma'am to her. They did everything she said. Raquel didn't really lash out, but every now and then Jasleen will lash out. And then they will have their little argument and disagreement. And then 20 minutes later, you see them hugging and laughing together and making up and everything's perfectly fine. If I was to say something, it's immediately, get out of my car. Oh, get out of your car? Let me get out your car and I will hop up out that car and pump. You're out the group. Every time she kicked me out in the beginning, I was always the one messaging saying, look, Nikki, I know we had our little disagreement. I know we had our argument, maybe I shouldn't have lashed out, or maybe I shouldn't have, asked you or whatever, or stood up for myself in the way I felt was needed. But I feel like this is my dream and I want this bad and I'm willing, just to take I apologize. I always took the extra step and to make things right, whether even if I felt she was wrong in the situation. I will always be the one to own up to my shit. I will always be the one to say, you know what, I apologize, ladies, if anybody felt like I was being a little over the top, but I just like to be respected. I give respect, just give me the same respect. And that's what basically fueled the fire between me and Nikki, to where the point where she knew. She told me, she's like, I feel like I gotta walk on eggshells with you and certain things of that nature, because she knew that she just cannot handle me certain ways she was handling me. I'm already under so much stress. I'm already under so much thoughts of family dying and things happening to me, bad thing after the next, So after kissing so much ass, after apologizing so many times, after being kicked out so many times and being brought back, now I'm to the point where it's like, okay, girl, you know me, you know who I am, you know I'm not going to stand for you disrespecting me like that, talking down to me, talking about me to people like that. Girl, that's not right, Nikki. You're disrespectful. You know, I started getting to that point, speaking up for myself, opposed to the frail girl that she first met at first, that would sit in the corner and just start crying, just, you know, while she's yelling, talking about this and that. I would just, you know, be nodding my head, tears coming out my eyes. And she felt that I was that fragile girl at first, that she could just be able to just, you know, tamper with and walk all over and do whatever to. But then I started obtaining my strength and my courage to be able to stand up for myself. So that's where the line was drawn. Now, this is when I start to feel the distance with Raquel, because she started to, I guess, see me as the difficult one that speaks up for myself when situations get irate. So I guess she started feeling like, oh girl, I don't know about her or whatever, because girl, it's just too much, and I didn't come here for this, and I'm just, you know, that type of vibe. So here I am again at the night of our performance. Hey Raquel, you know, I just want to let you know I apologize if you think that, you know, I popped off too much or whatever. I don't want any divide in us, or, you know, I want us to all grow and, you know, get to know each other more and be cool. I want a sisterhood. I want us to be united together. I want us to be able to have differences and get past them. And it was, yeah, you know, just basically, you know, hash out that thing, but you could still tell there was an attitude because it showed in everything that happened in the performance. See, God don't like ugly. I hit every single step, every single dance move. When you look back at that footage, you don't see me messing up in steps and all that.
Around the world, secret girls. Wipe the floor with all the boys. Pour the drinks, bring the noise. Secret girls, y'all just so pretty. All around the world, secret girls. Jump the line to the front. Do what we like, get what we want. Let them know we're just so pretty. Hey, don't you know that it's always the same? From Australia right to LA. You can imagine wherever the girls go, boys follow. We be keeping them up on their toes. They can laugh but they don't get the joke. Just to watch us unpredictable. Some things don't change. The girls roll up, others roll down. Eyes on us, draw from the ground. Watch them go, it's just so funny. Like bees to the honey. All around the world, secret girls. Walk the floor with all the boys. Pour the drinks, bring the noise. We're just so pretty. All around the world, secret girls. Jump the line.
Our last night of our performance, of our first, you know, first two performances, I wanted just to clear the air with everybody, even Nikki. I was like, you know what, I know we had our differences throughout this beginning process, but I just want to let you know that I'm determined to be a part of this group. If anything I did along the way of us having our differences, I truly do apologize, and I want to be a part of this group. So I still felt that negative energy. I go use the bathroom. I come back. Nobody's there. So I started to question. I was like, is this really for me? Because I don't like this energy I feel. It's like when I'm with them, it's just like a mean girls environment. Like, but it wasn't that to the point, because I still kind of vibed with Jasleen. Like, we had intimate moments and had talks that made me feel like I could confide in her as well. So, you know, we would sit and shed tears together and really just connected with her. But then I started noticing that the things that I was also talking to Jasleen about, she was telling Nikki about.
We back at square one. Raquel's gone out of the group now. Where now we have to find another member with vocals and that could dance and everything that fits the criteria. So Nikki Exotika at that point starts to look for a potential other group member. So that's when she found this girl that I met. She was in the group for about like a month. I would say a month or two. Her name is Kelly. So Kelly joined the group, and to make a long story short about Kelly, you know, we went to a karaoke bar, met each other. She was really cool. Like everything was so cool. Everything was lovely. Like when I tell you we had so much fun at night meeting each other and just really just starting to build a better bridge with each other, because I felt like the first half of all the stuff we was going through, I was like, okay, so I want to walk into this season of the Secret Girls very different. We already know that we are so easy to go off on each other. I speak my views, you speak your views, then I get kicked out the car, and I didn't want to deal with all that extra stuff again. So I was like, let me just go, you know, let me start back off, going back into the group with a new vibe, a new attitude, and, you know, hopefully she just changed and she's not treating me the same type of way. So she starts to begin to treat me the same way and tries to make me the little hippie underdog girl that's always being nitpicked about and saying all this stuff about me. So long story short, Kelly starts to believe in some of the things, I guess, obviously, because the way how me and Kelly's communication shifted was just so abnormal. It was just like one day she just started giving me, you know, when somebody's giving you snarky comments, like when I'm like, oh girl, I can't do this, and she's like, oh, I knew you was gonna say that, or, you know, just little disrespectful stuff that I could only think, oh, it's probably because Nikki is making her believe this way. So anyway, all that being said, we had a wonderful time. We start to really get collecting back together. Just me, her, and Nikki. Jocelyn was supposed to come out so we could start our rehearsals and get everything together. New photo shoots, new everything. And so over the course, somehow, her and Kelly falls out. And they have this big old blow up between one another. It was just so much confusion between the two of them, to the point that Kelly started to call me a lot. And she started to like reach out and be like, girl, now I see exactly what you're going through. I see exactly what's happening to you. She's doing the same stuff to me, talking down to me and saying this about me and all this. And so Kelly just was going off. Was like, girl, I can't deal with this, girl. I'm going to leave this group, girl. We should just do our own group. And the whole time I'm like, Kelly, I'm just going to really, like, you know, suck it up and just try to really make nice about this situation, because I really believe in this group. And I'm just willing to, you know, take on any bullshit at this moment just for the sake of the group. So with all that being said, 2 months go past, like a couple of months before the performance, and Kelly leaves. So now we're at square one again. Now this is when Alyssa comes into the picture.
across the United States and trying to find our 5th Secret Girl member. That's the
Fabulous.
storyline.
That's
So
the
if we
story.
start, right, if we pitch it as 5 members, then what the hell's the story going to be behind it?
Right.
You know what I
But
mean?
really, in reality, we
Yeah.
already got the girl.
We already had her, but yeah, she
That's
just
cool.
didn't work out. So
Cool. That's awesome.
mhm.
Awesome. I'm excited for you, and I have once we get everything solidified with us, I do have a producer friend who just moved from LA, who's now here in Miami, who is in production, and I may need to drop him your reel, so and see what he can do, because yeah, this is maybe something that they want to work with.
We're
So
definitely open, yeah, for acting or modeling, anything. We're open
awesome.
for any other gigs other than
All the
performing.
gigs. All the gigs. Yeah, and then like we'll definitely like Marco would eat you guys up like in a heartbeat. So that'll be hot to you guys.
His
in a
next
fashion
year's
show.
fashion show will be
Yeah,
amazing.
for sure. Easy, breezy, beautiful.
Well, we definitely want him to make our costuming, like for one of our shows, you know?
Oh yeah,
So we can have it for
awesome.
our tour.
Cool.
I think
Easy.
LaShawn would be really good for them too.
Yes. LaShawn makes all my clothes. He's amazing. So, but like, we'll hook you up. We got the hook up.
Okay.
So, I look forward to speaking to all of you again. Mike, I get you your paperwork, and you guys can review and get it all taken care of. It is important that it is signed, witnessed, and notarized, because you are signing over a power of attorney for the company to receive money on your behalf and to pay you. You understand what I'm saying? So we can't do that.
And explain to them the percentage, just so they know how much you're getting, because they don't know that.
Okay, the agency takes out 20% as standard percentage, and that's covers the agency fee and the booking fee. So, but that's all the fees that come out. There are no hidden costs or anything that's going to come up later. As far as, you'll see that it's outlined in the contract, like for promotional content, if we're going to be publishing promo materials, we can only spend up to a certain amount of money, and then we need your approval to go above that amount. So you'll never get roped into a situation where all of a sudden you owe us $30,000 because we spent this money for you for your promos. That'll never happen. So, but it is happening to some girls that I know. But that's a different story. But yeah, everything will be outlined for you, and just read it over. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm here for you. Mike is here for you. We have a whole team here for you. And then as we get you guys all signed in, we'll get you introduced to the rest of the team and get this ball rolling, baby. I'm ready. Let's do this. Let's do it. Yes.
Ready to work too.
Yeah.
Yay!
I feel good about it. Come on, hashtag Teen Talent, bitch.
Hashtag Teen Talent.
Yes, God.
We are the future of music.
Yes, we're going to break some boundaries and make some history, honey. I love it.
It was just out of nowhere that she wanted to leave the group. So it put the Secret Girls right back at square one, to where Nikki Exotika had to cast an additional 4th member. So we then went on hiatus, and Nikki Exotika went on to cast a 4th member to fill Raquel's spot. And that's when I met my good friend, Alyssa Brooks. So now we're back at the beginning stages, to where we have to get another member in the group
then we have to replace Raquel's vocals with Alyssa's vocals. And we have to do another sizzle reel. Just more things to be able to get that same exact direction where Nikki Exotica was going with when we first started. I meet Alyssa, we have Google Hangouts, you know, everything is cool, but at the end of the day, I was still dealing with a lot of stress and a lot of things that was going on. So, you know, it was clear that Alyssa knew that there was problems going on within the group that she was walking into. And being the type of person that I am, yeah, I wear my heart on my sleeve, and we had our Google Hangouts and certain things that was going on because there was conflict still lingering. And right from the jump, I'm sure Alyssa knew exactly what was going on, and she felt the energy and she felt the tension that was being distributed between me and Nikki Exotica. But one thing about Alyssa coming into the group is I respect her so much is because she came into the group with an open mind of not being the type of person that would pick a side or that would play the role of, oh, this, that, and oh, I'm just going to go on the coattails of Nikki Exotica and I'm going to shade you and treat you just like this or that. She had an open mind. And Nikki's mind state with that situation was replacing Raquel with Alyssa to take on the role as one of her extra allies, like she had with Raquel. But see, Alyssa had her own mind state. She's already established. She's already been doing a lot of material, been doing a lot of performances, been, you know, doing her own thing as a solo artist, been doing a lot of performances, been doing her own thing. She was the assistant of a well-known music artist. So a part of it was like, are you adding her to this group so you could be able to use her and use her references and all the people that she knows in the industry? Or do you really sincerely want her to be a part of this group because you like her? And that's what I came along the way to realize. She was also using Alyssa for a pawn for her references and her abilities and opportunities that she could present to the group as well. So, now that we're in season 2, we finally have another direction. We're going to regroup. Alyssa plans to come to New York City so we could then start getting ready for our next upcoming big performances, which was a booking for Fort Lauderdale. So, in order to get that performance all the way together, Alyssa had to learn the routine, she had to learn the music, she had to replace Raquel's vocals. We will be like at music sessions with the producer and stuff like that, and some of them would not be able to hit the notes that I could hit, and the producer, the music engineer, will be like, Eleet, I need Eleet to do this part, and I need her to do this part, and yes, she's going to take on this part at the end. She didn't like that. I saw it. I saw the tension right from the beginning. It was just like, every time, it's just like she wanted me to be in the background. She wanted me to be the one with the, you know, no vocals, not able to show my full vocal capability. And I started to put 2 and 2 together, especially when Alyssa had to redo her parts. And, you know, certain things that the music producer wanted me to do, she wanted to take over and say, oh, I'm going to do that part. I'm going to be this part, and she's going to be at the end of this part. And kind of just slide me to make me like, you know, oh, she's the less fortunate girl. Oh, she's not doing this and paying this. And, you know, because she had already established that situation with, obviously, with Alyssa, on the other hand, that was giving her money or whatever, that she was telling her, this is this price, that's that price. But then when Alyssa come to find out certain things, she started to notice, oh,
I'm being taken advantage of. So that's when the tension started to happen with Alyssa and Nikki Exotika. Then things started to change. I wasn't the main one, the main woman that was always categorized as the difficult one. She then started categorizing Alyssa as the difficult one, and they started having lash outs and clashing together. Catch that. And all this stuff needed to be done so it could seem as if we never broke up. All there was just a replacement. We had to do a variety of things, another photo shoot. And the next route was, our first very music video, which we did for Ariana Grande one last time. I then began to meet Alyssa, and come to find out, we really clicked. We really clicked, like instantly. It was just like immediate, She knew where I was coming from. She seen past some of the bullshit, some of the differences. Even when Nikki Exotika, in the process of meeting with her one-on-one, was trying to tell her all these bad things about me. And she's this, and she's difficult, or she would pop off and say this and that. Alyssa put two and two together and knew exactly where my stand was coming from. And Nikki did not like that. She didn't like it at all. She knew in her mind that, she's going to be on my side. She's going to believe everything I say. We're going to be gagging at this bitch. We're going to be trying her. We're going to be, whatever. Because I was the lead person to, I guess, make the mold of the negativity of conflict in the group, which will make producers and advertisers and people want to book our show or pick up our show, because there will be a lot more material and there'll be layers to the drama and all of the stuff going on. But see, I respect Alyssa because she's seen through all of that. She's seen through everything. Nikki Exotika was giving her the breakdown of prices, everything that was being booked for, everything that was being paid for. She saw all that because Nikki was sharing with her all of the reference information, all of the business information, all of the stuff that I was asking her in the beginning that she was getting mad about me for asking. She was letting Alyssa know behind the scenes. But Alyssa was letting me and Jocelyn know as well. Oh, she's trying to take this percentage and give us this percentage. Oh, she's saying this about you, girl, but I have my own state of mind. I'm going to think for me. And, she's doing this, and her and Jocelyn's doing this, and yada, yada, yada. And throughout that process of us getting to meet each other and going to studio sessions and doing our parts and all that, Nikki Exotika started to see that there was a connection and a bond between me, Jocelyn, and Alyssa. So, I guess you see what that says. The roles had reversed. The roles had taken a turn for Nikki Exotika. And at that point, she started to feel like she was the eyeball out of the group because we related to everything that was going on. We understood each other. We understood exactly how we was being treated. Then it clicked. Anybody that has anything great coming towards their way and it's not about her, she don't like that. We really bonded and became very close to one another. And I think it started to irritate Nikki because at one point when she had Raquel and Jocelyn in a group, it was just like whatever she says goes. They listen. When they have me and her have our little situations, they cling to her. I'm over here in the corner by myself. So now I had somewhat of an ally, somebody that really saw everything and seen it for what it was. Because one thing about Alyssa Brooks, when she came into the group already with her connections, already with her career in play, already knowing the game and knowing exactly what should be distributed and what should not be distributed. So she was on the other end, opposed to when I
had a fallout with Nikki over asking her, hey, can you send me emails just so I could be up to date what they're saying, what they're offering us, what's going on, just so I could be in the loop. When I gave that proposition and when I asked Nikki of that sort, there was a big, huge argument and a big old fuss and fight. Oh, you don't want to believe me and this, that, and the third and all this. But then when Alyssa came in the group, she distributed that information immediately to Alyssa because Alyssa knows the motherfucking game. So she couldn't pull a wool over her head as if she thought she was pulling over mine. And that was one thing that she did not like. You know, at first everything was all cool. Ha. She was trying to make that little separation between us and make Alyssa her new best friend and all this and stuff. But then as time went by, Alyssa started to really notice it. She's like, girl, I'm not here for all that. I'm here to work. I'm here to do what, you know, what we need to do. I want to make history just like, you know, and it was on some real shit. That's why me and Alyssa connected. Yes, me and Jocelyn connected as well too. But if shit was to fall out and hit the fan, Jocelyn would always take Nikki's side no matter what, even if she was wrong. But when it came to Alyssa and there was differences, Alyssa always broke that shit down with the realist right in front of us. And so there was some tension early in the beginning process. And I'm going to tell you where this stems from so we could finish up chapter 2. So 3 months into us knowing each other, Jocelyn comes to New York, Alyssa comes to New York, and we start to rehearse for our Fort Lauderdale trip. So we are doing vigorous workouts, performances, and rehearsals. We got this big medley going on. It's just amazing. Like, we're about to really shut it down. And so over the course of this point, Alyssa's already having certain issues with Nikki Exotika. And these are the pinpoint issues. She started talking about her weight. She started telling her she needs to lose weight. Oh, you're not singing this right. Oh, you need to work on your vocals and do this. Oh, she's not a singer like you and like us. And it's just kind of really singling Alyssa out. And it was really fucked up because as I'm watching, I'm like, damn, are you really telling this girl she needs to lose weight and all this stuff and just making her feel like she's not worthy? And so, of course, that was going to start tension or whatever. And me being trying to stay out of the drama between that, I will always just leave it for Alyssa to be able to deal on her own. And that's exactly what happened. Alyssa started standing up for herself as well, just like how I would stand up for myself. And she didn't like that. She didn't like the fact that she could not just walk over Alyssa like how she used to just walk over Raquel and Jocelyn. But I do want to be honest about it. She can't always walk over Jocelyn because there has been some times that Jocelyn has popped off on her. And I have videos to show that.
She's telling me I'm a murderer.
But you are.
She called me a murderer.
What is that when you like do some crime in the when you hit someone in the road? What crime is that? Manslaughter. She's a manslaughterer. With those fucking silicone injection. Manslaughter. Oh, criminal. Manslaughter. X Factor don't need that, girl. X Factor don't need a manslaughter.
No, they don't need you.
No, they don't need a manslaughter. They don't need a horse-looking manslaughter criminal in X Factor. See? You want me to throw it for you? I can throw it better. A horse-looking... Everybody knows here I'm a faggot. Everybody knows here I'm a faggot. But everyone knows you're the horse-looking manslaughter.
You see what we go through?
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Let's give a chance. A fucking horse-looking manslaughter.
I'm so sorry for...
Everybody was not here to follow me up. Manslaughter. Right there. Silicone butt. Illegal. Implants. Manslaughter. You're a fucking hooker too. 20 years and still getting there. Getting stronger. Fucking prostitute hooker, right here.
Rough more. Come on.
I can't.
I'm trying to get y'all to have fun about the situation.
Y'all turn something playful into something serious.
Hey, wait, I thought y'all was just playing. Y'all playing.
Oh, it's done. It's done.
Y'all stop it. Y'all need to cut that out. We're supposed to be in unison about doing positive things for the adolescents, younger generation, not combating with one another, okay? Now, I'm going to be the peacemaker of the situation. Because I'm always the one, normally. So.
I did that strategically, and we're going to talk about that in the last chapter, in chapter 3. But we'll get back to that. As you see the differentiation between the two or the three of us. Whenever Jasleen or Raquel had a big old argument in a disagreement with her, they would become right back cool the next day, apologize to each other, squash it. None of that posted all over the internet for everyone to pick apart the other person. None of that. They just kept their little disagreements to themselves. But when it came to me, I was always scrutinized, and I was always, broadcasted publicly for the world to see, to make me out to look like this bad, angry black woman. So, the shit has hit the fan. This is a 3. Me, Jasleen, and Alyssa start to really, really bond more. Because they had an incident right after our rehearsal about her saying she needs to lose weight and all this stuff. And they wanted to go out to the club that night or whatever. But knowing me, I really have problems waking up early. So I was like, I'm just going to stay in the house, so I can make, because I know Nikki's going to wake us up at 6 o'clock in the morning and all this stuff. And they're like, at this point, so irritated. They're coming to the room. They're like, I can't deal with this bitch. I'm like Jasleen. She's going, I can't deal with this bitch. I'm over. We're going out to a club. Girl, come with us. And I'm just like, girl, I can't go out. So they're going in upon Nikki at this point. And Nikki's in her room, closed her door. Now, I remember this moment so pivotally because this is the moment that I really felt like me and Nikki Exotika really tried to hash out everything. They went out and she came out, her cat had peed on the floor or something like that. And so she was just sniffling and going, and I hear somebody like they're crying. And so I open the door and she's in there cleaning off the cat pee. And she's just bawling in tears, just breaking down, just crying, and just really having a moment. I'm like, Nikki, are you okay? She's like, no, I'm not okay. They're just ganging up on me, and I just feel so out of the place, and I'm just so upset, and this, that, and the third. And she didn't have nobody there, and I was her shoulder to cry on. And we just really had a heart-to-heart. Like, I even started crying with her. Like, she started bawling out. She was like, Eleet, I'm sorry. I really don't want to have to fight with you all the time. And we came a long way, and we know about our differences. And we really was having a moment together. And I was like, Nikki, I don't want to fight with you. I just want us to make, history together. I just want this to be a peaceful situation. I don't want to be looked at as the negative type of person. And we really was taking some strides and setting ourselves up for the betterment of the foundation. And I just really felt like we was connecting at that moment. And so we hugged it out, and she was like, if anything ever happens, I want you to always keep going with the Secret Girls. Please don't ever give up. We need you in this group. You are a wonderful asset. I know we fight a lot and we have our little difficulties, but girl, I would not have you here if I didn't believe in you and all this stuff. And it just really hit home. I was like, wow, she actually does have a heart. She actually is genuine and sincere, and she's just not out to be malicious and evil all the time. So everything was cool. So we're forming a newfound bond at this moment. We are getting ready for our photo shoot so we can start promoting, because we have a big cover with Phoenix magazine. I was just so ecstatic, and that was by the grace of Alyssa. Alyssa made that happen with Phoenix magazine in Atlanta. Shout out to them. So we had to get photos ready to be able to send over professional high-tech photos. So like, at this point, we're vibing with each other. We're vibing. We're really trying to make nice. The girls come in from their from the club. They're still pissed at her, and I'm just talking to them in the hallway. I'm like, yo, Like, I really think that y'all should just probably, you know, give her another chance, take a step back, because she really broke down with me, and we really was having a heart-to-heart, and she was just really confiding in me and just really telling me she don't want to have no problems with y'all and all this stuff. So and so everybody had a clear start at that point. We leave, everything is all done at that point. The music is done, our new photo shoots is done, everything is in place right where we picked up, where we left off with Raquel. So now we're planning to get ready to go to Atlanta. And so, yes, over this whole time we have our little text chat and all that, and everything seems to be fine and cool and stuff like that. And then we go to Atlanta. Okay, we go to Atlanta to go meet up with Alyssa, and Jocelyn is going to meet us in Atlanta, because from Atlanta we were going to drive up to Fort Lauderdale. So we're having like the most amazing road trip, like hands down. Everything is perfect. I'm living my best life. Like, you know, we're all in our own little zones. We're all just having fun. We're going to go meet record people in Atlanta before we go to Fort Lauderdale. And so it's just all cool. Like, you see us making videos. It's where you see us at the gas station and stuff like that. On our girls trip, we sing it all in the car and stuff like that. And so somewhere along the line of that, Nikki gets a call from someone that was watching her cat. But the person that's watching her cat played this big old prank on her and called her and told her that they taxidermied her cat for cash and all this stuff just to freak her out. But they were really, really taking it serious to the point where, you know, she believed them. They never said they was just playing until the very, very last minute. So this whole time, like, we're getting ready for our Fort Lauderdale show all along these days of driving and stuff like this. She's going through it. She's crying. I start crying. I'm going crazy. Like, I have adrenaline rush because I have hella cats. Like, if that was one of my babies, I would flip the fuck out. And so, like, you know, I felt like that was drawing us closer and stuff. And things were going, you know, okay. But then when we finally get to the hotel room, there's another altercation that takes place. And this altercation, I guess, takes place with Alyssa stemming back from everything that was said about her and things that was said. So I can't remember exactly what the incident was, so I don't want to say something and it be fabricated. I don't fabricate anything. I keep it fucking 100. So they had a little situation, and I believe it was supposed to be me and Jocelyn in a room, and it was supposed to possibly be Nikki in a room with Alyssa at one point. But then I think it just something happened between them to where Nikki got her room to herself, and us three, me, Jocelyn, and Alyssa, shared a room because they was having an altercation. Okay, so now, through this whole situation of them having an altercation, Alyssa confides in me and tells me, girl, I'm going to tell you something. And, you know, it was something very deep or whatever, to the point she was like, girl, don't take it anyway or whatever. But Nikki told me or whatever that she was going to start looking into replacing you or looking for another girl. Not only did I sacrifice a whole lot, jobs that I had, opportunities that I could have been doing to put on hold, to sacrifice myself to be a part of this group, and then here you go telling somebody that you're going to, after all this is done, you're going to secretly find me a replacement. So now I'm like, what? Are you serious? After all this shit that I've been through and all this thinking that me and her are getting back cool and all this stuff. So I said, you know what? I love y'all dearly. And this is my dream. This is everything that I ever wanted to do in life. But this is the moment that I'm about to walk away from it. So I had already planned that this was going to be my last performance. As soon as we had a morning meeting with Nikki the next day, I was going to let her know. This will be my last performance. I'm very thankful and appreciative that you seen some good in me and that you wanted me to be a part of this group. But, you know, I heard what you were doing, so I'm going to make this easier for you. And this is going to be my last performance. And so, long story short, the whole day we're bonding, we're driving around, like us three, we're feeling this really, really good vibe. That's just so, it's kind of fucked up because it's like we're having all this fun, possibly because we're not fueled with the negativity of Nikki with us at this moment. It was just us three. And we're all just talking about our experiences and little issues we had with Nikki, and it was just in a fucked up way. It was bonding us closer together. Our differences we had with her, and that's how the conversation came up about me being possibly replaced, and then me starting to cry, just telling them this is gonna be my last performance, y'all. I really, really appreciate y'all, and I really appreciate this, and I wanted to be able to do this for the rest of my life, but I'm going to give up on this dream because I'm not going to sit around and kiss anybody's ass, especially when I'm working my ass off, regardless of how much I was giving or whatever I was paying or whatever she was putting in. She was receiving all of that income back after every performance and everything that was done for me. So there should have never been all this about, she doesn't have this, she's broke, and won't this, that, and the third. Yes, I have my struggles. We all have our struggles. But bitch, I do live by myself in a 1-bedroom apartment and to pay all my utilities as well. So what you didn't know is, yes, I do have a job and I did have income, but all my income is going to my motherfucking roof over my head. Because I'd be damned if I be homeless and living on the streets, because I already been through that. I know what it's like to not have a home, to have to prostitute myself and escort myself. I was trying to be done with those situations in my life. So that's what was keeping me off the edge of her always trying to sign me up to an ad or do this and do that and trying to put me on escort sites, and I was always refusing it. And so, just with all this being said, the next day, so we are having a hash out meeting. Now in this hash out meeting, this is the meeting where I break the story that she's been hiding. So along with them making up, her and Alyssa, because she was like, what is your problem? And Alyssa's like, the problem is you keep saying these things about my weight, I don't feel comfortable, and whoop, all this stuff. And along the way, when they finished having their situation out, and I was like, and I just wanted to add up onto this and make it very clear that I know that you said something to Alyssa about possibly replacing me after this whole performance and stuff like that. Well, I just want to say right now, this will be my last performance, and you don't ever have to worry about, because you don't have to worry about letting me go or nothing. I'm going to leave on myself. I'm going to walk away on my own. I don't want to have to, but the fact that I find out this, I'll be damned if I sit around and just allow somebody to keep on dangling my career in front of my head. Every time we get into an argument, you kick me out your car, you kick me out the group, you kick me, and so I'm just, at this point, I'm like done with it. I'm like, girl, it is what it is. I've been over backwards to ever make my character in the sizzle reel, talking about all types of stuff that was not true, and it was just a mess. Like, it was such a mess. So we having our little lash out moment at this point. We're arguing back and forth, and she's like, I didn't think you was gonna tell me. Then she tried to deflect it back to Alyssa for telling me, and I'm like, it's not all that serious. I'm happy. It is what it is. And she started to see that I was content with the fact that this was going to be my last performance, and I'm so gun serious upon it. So all along, she's trying to get me to stay. Girl, we're going to have this, and we're going to be doing this, and we're going to be signing contract. And another reason, it was not just that she said that. I was very upset with the fact that she kept on saying that nobody could be kicked out. It has to be a group effort thing. We're going to have contracts and stuff like this, so we won't have to worry about these type of situations, and everyone feels secure in their spot and stuff like that. So I'm like, I'm pissed at this, but I'm like, there's no contracts. You said we was going to have a contract and all these things. Now I'm hearing you're talking about kicking me out, so how about I just make it easier, and this will be my last performance. And kept it very motherfucking lit, just like that.